We'll be using a workbook for this experiment. There's different types of displays. For instance, I could take output voltage as a function of time and just drop it on the word graph. And here I see a standalone window that is a graph. So for a quick look-see, you can just drop something onto a graph. But I don't need that because I'm going to use this workbook. Now we've already prepared all the graphs for you as far as the axes are concerned. Current versus time, so on and so forth. Voltage versus current. If you ever really messed up a page and had to redo this, go up to the display menu and choose show tools, and now you have some extra tools to use, but you can also get rid of an entire graph. So when it's chosen in here, it has this dark gray, and then click once more on the border and it has a light gray. And if I hit delete on the keyboard, or this delete right here, this top one, this will delete the whole page. Don't do that. That will delete that object, and I could start over with a new graph with the window pane menu here and just choose graph and then define it. But when you define that, make sure that you look at your values over here. I already have data in this file. I think you only have one sample data at the beginning of yours. Somewhere over here we have voltage versus current, and so you'd want to just drop this onto your new graph just by dragging it. Okay, and then you would use the data menu to clear all the data and then bring in whichever runs that you wanted to bring in. The workbook is named over here in the summary window. See Douglas here, and I could just choose this, Douglas Ohm's Law, and now the name appears up here for the workbook. If you ever close the workbook, that's all right. It's over here in the workbook again in the summary window. So I can just find and double click, and the workbook will open. And this particular workbook has about 10 pages or so. Once you're finished with all this and you've done all your annotations, you can choose page setup. And by the way, save often. Under File Page Setup, it's a good idea to rotate it, so make it landscape. Okay, and that way when you print, I can open PDF and preview, and there it is. Oh, I should make another announcement about the temptation that students have on these nice beautiful screens on the computer. Do not resize your workbook like this. Okay, or I'll even exaggerate this and go outside the window frame, because now when I print and open PDF and preview, you're going to see a big problem, and that is that doesn't look so bad right now, but you can see that it has shrunk all my data and left all this white space. Okay, so resist the temptation. Do not resize these workbooks. I've sized them appropriately already for you to be the right proportions for a page to fill up the white spaces. Okay, so those are the basics of using a workbook in Data Studio.